Just want to do a video on our Garcinias that flowered at the same time and which trees produce fruit and how to successfully grow and fruit Garcinia trees using only biological farming techniques, and the importance of living roots, a biodiverse selection of living roots for the success of your biological system. Anyway, so this is our Achacha tree, and this tree would be probably 15 feet or 12 feet if it hadn't got topped twice from hurricanes. We are in Florida. Along the coast, we have hurricanes, but you just have to prepare for them and hope for the best, like everything else. So this is the Achacha fruit. We have 2 fruits. And they're nice looking fruit. Those are definitely Achacha. And here's the other one, hidden amongst the foliage. This tree was started because I had to buy a lot of the older trees from nurseries. The trees were just, you know how hard it is to find trees now. It was hard back then, but it might be harder now. But this tree was in a root pruning pot. It was in the pot. It was probably almost 6 feet. It was a large root pruning pot, 20 gallon maybe. And I put it in the ground here 5 years ago. I've had the tree for seven years, I guess, or something like that. I'd have to check my records, but I've had it a while. And so it's probably about 3 years old. And then see, there's an oak tree growing right next to it. You want all these different species, because the key to it is biodiversity, because they trade, I believe, DNA with other plants through the root system, so that if you have a drought-loving plant planted in here, it can, in a healthy system, can transfer information from tree to tree or species to species. Which is why really we don't have to water. I do water this tree about 4 months out of the year. What is that? Is that plastic? No, it looks like a, is that a wing? Yeah, it's a dragonfly wing. Thought it was a piece of plastic. Anyway, most of the finished organic matter in the earth is derived from insects or fungus. So you want to have the living roots in the ground at all times. In Florida especially, it's so important on sand. So important. And you want it robust, and you want it diverse, and you don't want to be removing anything. You want to manage it. Stay off of it. If a tree looks like it's growing up too high and gonna block your photosynthesis, you could just trim it. But leave it in the system. I've found that struggling trees like to, you can plant a ginger into the root ball of a struggling tree, or a tree that you think's dead, a grafted tree that you bought, and put it in the root ball in a biological system, and sometimes that tree will revive. and start growing above the graft line again. So it's all about the roots. That's in sand, that's what it's about. It's probably like that everywhere, but more so in sand because it's the easiest to destroy. All this different stuff growing in there guarantees the success and growth of our tropical fruit trees. This particular area was heavily compacted. I know there's a hardpan layer that's kind of been broken up in most areas from planting nursery large trees or from planting different plants. But this particular area was right in front of the house and it flooded and it killed my rarest jackfruit seedling and seedlings because it killed them all because I planted them right here because I thought I fixed this area and I hadn't. And I don't know, I was too stubborn to just move them when I saw the flood coming from the rains, because we get like 10 inches of rain in a day sometimes, multiple times a year, and so there's a lot of standing water, and this particular spot was a standing water spot. So this cover was robust and large, and I took hay and mulched the cover with the hay. And then I put a little thin layer of compost on top of the hay and planted my vegetables in it. Started planting my vegetables in it. Was that a carrot? Yes. Yeah. See how it bends? Yep. Compaction, that's what it is. But I've since planted more trees in here, jaboticabas and stuff, because I do have bigger trees that I grew from seed in here that didn't get bothered. But new planted seedlings and underwater for long periods of time, especially jackfruit, no. So anyway, back to the Garcinias. But I did this to try to add diversity to the system to fix it. And I believe it has. There's a little jaboticaba, but I have some Garcinias planted in here. I like to plant trees in the same hole, seedlings in the same hole, lots of them, like just mass plants. And these are Garcinia dulcis growing with Inga spectabilis. And none of this stuff got affected by the 31 degrees. And I know it was 31 degrees here because the thermometer is 20 feet away from here. Anyway, so another tree, look at all this diversity. These, I used to think, well, I'm planting this right in the weeds. And I knew it was good, but it kind of freaks people out when they see this. They want to mulch all that stuff in between. And when you mulch, put wood chips on it, it snuffs out all the plant life and the roots, except for a monocrop or your plant list that you can remember in your head and write down. So like 5 plants probably for a lot of people. And just kidding. Anyway, so I plant my bromeliads in here and they look good. I think it looks, I like them. Their colors are so incredible. And then I intercrop it with tropical fruit trees and encephalartis, cycads. I've got about, I don't know, 10 different types, but I need more. Anyway, so I just plant them in here. And all these, I plant them in the grass. And you couldn't do that if it was wood chips. And the reason is is all the microbial biology is in the diversity of each one of the different species you have in the plants. And the fungal network trades their information with bacteria and other biology to make a beautiful system work. So I have, 400 Garcinias. That's like our premier tree, and that's what I focused on: hoarding, collecting, planting Garcinias. And I believe we're over 400 Garcinia trees, and we had 6 blooming species. We have 5 fruiting species, I think, that I'm gonna go over. I know of 4, but I think it's 5. And the system works, and it's all this ugliness that people don't like that makes it work. You just have to plant what you like in it, and till you have enough planted in it where you think it looks good. Because it's only depends on you. It's only, your opinion for your yard. Though they do try to make you mow. So we have used wood chips. We make wood chips. I only get the wood chips. I used to only get the wood chips that I could process into the system, meaning scatter about into the system, like throw them in there so that you can't see them, but they're there throughout the entire system. And now we just use logs, because I believe that the logs have the saprophytic fungi already in there, which is a major component of degrading that log into mineralizable organic matter, which is what you want. So this tree got hit by lightning, and twice, and it's got a couple of live branches on it, but it makes me nervous because the whole thing is, you could see it's falling down. So I have on the edge where I knew it wouldn't hit me, I planted Achachas and more citrus seedlings and some jaboticabas, and I have lots of Luke's Garcinias throughout the place. Here's one right here. That's how they are. I planted all the Luke's by seed directly into the ground. And then we had like hurricanes that came, and I had them all marked. But they're coming along. We got them. I know I've counted 100 of them, so it's plus or minus 100 at this point. But we have another one over here somewhere. There's all kinds of Luke's in here, but it would take too much time going over the little tiny details. But here's a Luke's Garcinia. And I know these are Luke's because they came from Luke's. No fooling me here. Anyway, so yeah, this is the system. This is what it is. This it's like a biological, syntropic, biodynamic system that works in Florida exceptionally well. And it's free. It's free, and you don't have to water it. Don't get too many wood chips and kill all your living roots. That's all your biodiversity is in the weeds and grasses and herbs that come up in your orchard floor. You just have to add more to it. Hoard more plants. Put them in the ground. These are all seed grown. This is seed grown citrus. Seed grown citrus, we don't get greening. We don't have greening here. Greening is a problem with, again, glyphosate the ground so it's completely barren and devoid of plant roots kills a tree eventually. So why are you doing it? Anyway, this is our Garcinia Intermedia. The Garcinia Intermedia, or not Garcinia Intermedia, it's a Garcinia Livingstonii, hermaphroditic tree, grafted tree that we bought from Excalibur 5 years ago. And she got the fruit and I like the Imbe, so I'm so glad that I bought one grafted tree. We have more than 5 seed grown Garcinia Livingstonii, and a couple of them produce scant amount of fruit. But this one is like, this is a juicy fruit jungle, baby. Juicy fruit jungle is where we're gonna sell all our fruit starting this summer. I have to build a web page and do all that. So on top of having to learn how to grow biologically in Florida and manage it and get it to fruit, which is the goal. Fruit, produce fruit, go to market. That's what we're about. Then we have certain grocery stores, regenerative grocery stores that we're going to partner with, and I started planting bananas for them because they kind of inspired me to plant more many bananas. But anyway, you can see this Garcinia Livingstonii hermaphroditic tree is going to produce a, what do they sell these for? $1 each. It's going to produce $50 worth of seeds. I can eat all the fruit. I like it. I like the Imbe. It's beautiful. The color is beautiful. So anyway, now we're going to go look at the next fruiting Garcinia tree. I can't wait until we have fruiting lukes. Hopefully we'll have a hermaphrodite tree out of our 200 seeds we planted. Thank you, Luke. Yep. It's back when I started looking for these Garcinias. I knew what Luke's was, and this was almost 10 years ago. And I ran across Adam right before he started doing his nursery, I guess, or right when he opened it. I'm not sure. I think it was right before. And he had his greenhouses full of jaboticabas and like little Garcinias that he was growing, some bigger Garcinias. And anyway, I bought some stuff that I'm happy to have fruiting now from him so long ago. But that was basically the source for Garcinias back then. They didn't have all these Etsy people selling seeds, and there's some big Achachas in here. There's one there, and there's one. You can barely see it further between the pine tree and the other Achacha. Anyway, and there's cacao and different things planted in here. You can't really see it, but when I look in here, I see a cacao there and a cacao behind it. But anyway, I chose Garcinias and they're very slow growing, so you couldn't really see anything, or still can't really see anything because they're the same color as the grass that we don't have to water ever. So yeah, I've been planting more bananas. Regenerative grocery store. Buys in bulk. Wants biodynamic produce, of course. You know, it's the best. So I've been planting more many bananas. Yes, everywhere. Dividing everything that comes up, more than one, and cutting off the top, and I plant it upside down. I learned that from the Agroforestry Academy, the Syntropic Agroforestry Academy channel on YouTube, and they did a banana planting YouTube video that right when they first started coming out, and I've been planting them ever since like that, and it really works. They come up, they cut off the roots and do a bunch of stuff. I just cut off the top and dig the hole and put them in top down. Roots and all, it doesn't seem to matter. So this is Garcinia Intermedia. It fruited. I don't see, for some reason, any more fruit than that. But that's okay. It must have got the memo that I'm not really into Garcinia Intermedia. Sorry, tree. I'll send good thoughts your way. I know that's not very nice of me. The tree people. Look at this freaking nitrogen fixing elephant ear tree. And it's like covered in bloom, and this tree is gorgeous, gorgeous tree. Nitrogen fixers in your system, multiple species of all different sizes, tiny ground cover legumes, mid-range legumes, giant freaking legumes are all needed, along with all the other plants. Everything is important. The plant is your input. The plant is your fertilizer. We got bees with wild bees in these where the branches broke from previous hurricanes. And there's like a dead spot in the tree, and there's bees, honeybee nests, or I guess they're hives. Sorry. Just, it's one thing I don't have to do. Thank you, biology. And so that's Garcinia Intermedia. And then we have Garcinia. See how bad the soil is here? Or the cover? It's starting to get better, and this is right next to this beautiful old live oak tree. It was mowing the lawn with the tractors on the really low spots next to the trees. It killed one, and it was working on killing this and the others, because this was lawn, and we just stopped mowing, and from all the hurricanes we had all sorts of extra logs and stuff around these trees, and from trees that died, and so we started scattering them, or I started scattering them about Cherry the Rio Grande. I believe this is some special one. Who are you? Anyway, no water. They don't need any water either. And I have to apologize to the Cherry of the Rio Grande because the fruit ended up getting bigger on that tree. In fact, I see one now. I'll go look at it afterwards. Anyway, let me get back to this tree. This tree is the Garcinia, the sweet Madrono. Garcinia Madruno. And we have fruit, baby. It looks like that one broke. That one broke. So we're down to 2 fruit. That one broke. Probably from looking at it so much. It's low to the ground. Some animal could have hit it. We have 1 fruit left. 1 Madrono fruit left. Sad. See, that's the problem with checking it too much. There it is. The bumpy lemon. Oh well, wasn't meant to be. But here's another nitrogen fixing tree, and see if I can, oh, I see the bee's nest here. I don't know if I could get a close up of that. This way. Probably not. Bees are just too tiny to really see. It's not that late in the day, but there's a bee's nest there. Anyway, or beehive. Okay, so then we have, that's 4. We got Garcinia Achacha, or Garcinia humilis, and Garcinia Intermedia, and then there is brasiliensis. Brasiliensis looks like a heavy performer. So Achacha, bananas. I'll go this way. So it's diversity. All the different plants. Mulberries. This is Shang Mai 60. Yeah, the Cedar Bay cherries. Oh my God. They were black when they were ripe, and they're bigger, and it's good. I think I saw one, so I'll go over there after I look at this last fruit. That's how tiny our citrus is when we plant it. That's a zebu turd. It's a key lime. Key lime. Plant your seeds when you eat citrus fresh. Seeds like to be planted fresh. Mostly. Probably all, I would think. So here's the saprophytic fungi I was talking about that is in the logs. And you can see, maybe it's in the tree, right there. Right there. You can see the little ears coming off of it. So they grow right inside the tree. You don't need to inoculate anything. And saprophytic fungi are extremely important to build soil structure. Because you want your high quality carbon, finished carbon, and that's what they make. They poop out the best stuff. Or when they die, when they expire, I guess. Here's Garcinia brasiliensis. And it's covered in blooms and new buds, and fruit. So it has some qualities that I like. So it's good to have that diversity in the system, because who knows what this and some of the other closely related Garcinias can produce. So I see the importance of all the different types. I'm just gonna go look at that cherry of the Rio Grande. Look at that mango. The black sapotes are covered this year in flowers, so we'll have black sapotes to sell end of the year, next year, for sure. That juicy fruit jungle, baby. Yes, I love black sapotes. They're weird. You either love them or you don't like them. And the more I eat them, the more I want them. So I want them. And they're so easy. We water these trees. They're connected to the artesian drip because they're grafted. But we have 2 seed-grown trees now. I see another one coming up. The seed-grown trees don't need any water. These probably could do it without water, but I'm trying to get some fruit, and the money partner doesn't like me when I experiment. So in order to keep the money flowing until the fruit starts selling more, I have to play it safe most of the time so that we get fruit, because these were grafted trees and they were started industrially, so they are at a deficit to begin with. They were not imprinted at birth with the microbial inoculants that our seeds are given. Okay. Here's a mango that succumbed to the freeze. Oh yeah. So these cherry of the Rio Grandes are black. I'm glad I came over here. Black cherry of the Rio Grande, right? Okay, so black ones and red ones are all in the same tree here. I can't believe it. Taste test time. Oh my God. I'm so sorry I ever said anything bad about that fruit. A tartness and sweetness and juiciness similar to cherries, but a more interesting, I don't know, it's more complex sweet sour than a cherry, but they're good, and I'm gonna plant more of these, even these. So I would just want to redo that, what I thought of that cherry of the Rio Grande, because the black one on the same tree is really delicious. And I'm not gonna lose the seeds. Okay, so that's 5 of our Garcinias that fruited. The red flowered one is still flowering, and the Hombromiana is not flowering, and I don't believe there's any fruit. But there's no fruit on the red flowered tree we have, Garcinia tree, but there is, there's no fruit, but there is flower. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day. Thanks.